Our opening words this morning are taken from How Can We Keep From Singing by Minnesota author Joan Oliver Goldsmith. Human beings sing because we have to. When we're happy or sad or angry, energy builds up inside us. Then, before the pressure can do damage, a valve opens and we laugh or cry or sing. And once those tears or notes are outside of us, the universe shifts a little. Tears dry cool on the cheek, laughter infects those around us, and as for the notes, well, the blues is celebration, said Odetta, because when you take sorrow and turn it into music, you transform it. Singing persists.
are to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight of it all, and the darkness there inside you makes you feel so small. But I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful like a rainbow. Show me a smile then, and don't be unhappy, can't remember when I last saw you laughing. This one makes you crazy, and you take it all together. Call me, because you know I'll be there, and I see your true love shining through. I see your true love, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. Your true colors, beautiful rainbow. Call me up because you know I'll be there. I see your true colors shine through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. Your true colors, your true colors shining through. I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid.
Songs for the People by Frances Ellen Watkins Harper. Let me make the songs for the people, songs for the old and young, songs to stir like a battle cry wherever they are sung. Not for the clashing of sabers for carnage nor for strife, but songs to thrill the hearts of all with more abundant life. Let me make the songs for the weary amid life's fever and fret, till hearts shall relax their tension and careworn brows forget. Let me sing for little children before their footsteps stray, sweet anthems of love and duty to float o'er life's highway. I would sing for the poor and aged when shadows dim their sight of the bright and restful mansions where there shall be no night. Our world so worn and weary needs music, pure and strong, to hush the jangle and discords of sorrow, pain, and wrong. Music to soothe all its sorrow till war and crime shall cease, and the hearts of all grow tender, enfold the world with peace.
How do I make a change? How do I make a change? I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. It's gonna be real good, gonna make a difference, gonna make it right. As I tear up the collar of my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind. I see the kids in the street without enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their needs? I saw
Some days there won't be a song in your heart. Sing anyway. This has been a difficult couple of weeks if you've been watching the news. Who am I kidding? It's been frustrating for a couple of years now. Every day there's something more unbelievable and despicable in our world, and it can just weigh you down. Bob Dylan writes, "How many times can a man turn his head pretending he doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind." Please forgive my music nerdiness for a moment, but how many of you realize the connection between Blowin' in the Wind and We Shall Overcome? They're not just songs of the civil rights era. Their melodies are both based on the same African-American spiritual, "No More Auction Block for Me," which is number 154 in our hymnal. No more auction block for me. We shall overcome. How many times must a man walk down? Bob Dylan, "Blowin' in the Wind," was inspiration for Sam Cooke to write "A Change Is Gonna Come." When he heard it, Sam told a friend he was ashamed that a white boy had written it and almost immediately took up the challenge to write his own ballad for the movement. A minister's son, Sam was born in Mississippi in 1931, but raised in Chicago. He and his family were immigrants of the Great Migration. He was a successful singer and songwriter with a number of R&B and pop hits under his belt before he wrote and performed "A Change Is Gonna Come." It is the song with which he is most identified. It sounds a little bit like "Old Man River" from the Jerome Kern and Oscar Hammerstein musical Showboat. It even evokes the same river imagery. He had recorded "Old Man River" on his debut album. Sam's version is about the smoothest and hippest you'll ever hear. You can check it out on YouTube. "A Change Is Gonna Come" is in a ballad style, and Sam gave it a full orchestra treatment complete with strings, horn, and timpani. Hardly a typical folk song of the era. The saddest part of the story is that Sam was never to know the success of arguably his best song because it was released just days after his funeral. You see, Sam was shot and killed at the age of 33 by the manager of the hotel where he was staying in Los Angeles, a white woman. The exact circumstances are disputed, but it was inevitably ruled a justifiable homicide. Sound familiar? Forgive me, but I sometimes wonder, in the light of the current political climate, if the title of this song shouldn't have been "The More Things Change, the More They Stay the Same." Another of this morning's songs is also related to a gunshot murder. Holly Near wrote our opening hymn, "We Are a Gentle, Angry People," in response to the 1978 murder of gay activist Harvey Milk. Holly is an example of someone who writes, sings, and lives for social justice. In 1972, Holly was one of the first women to create an independent record company, paving the way for many women and even men. Her goal was to promote and produce music by politically conscious artists from around the world. Often cited as one of the founders of the women's music movement, she not only led the way for outspoken women in the world, but also worked for peace, multicultural consciousness, and the LGBTQ community. Holly believes in the power of music to transform. As she observed, "Music can influence choices, for better or worse. A lullaby can put a troubled child to sleep, but music can put a whole nation to sleep. A marching band can send our children off to war. It can also have everyone laughing and dancing and loving as it leads to a gay pride parade." Holly was one of the first celebrities to discuss her sexual orientation in a pioneering 1976 interview with People magazine. "We Are a Gentle, Angry People" is a powerful example of how a song or hymn can be an act of participatory theology. A great song allows us to breathe our faith, filling our lungs, singing what we believe and what we need to share. It's an auditory communion. Some days there won't be a song in your heart. Sing anyway. You with the sad eyes, don't be discouraged. Oh, I realize it's hard to take courage. In a world full of people, you can lose sight of it all. True Colors didn't start life as an anthem for LGBTQ folks. It was about one of the song's writer's mothers. It was even not originally written for Cyndi Lauper. The duo who wrote it, Tom Kelly and Billy Steinberg, submitted it first to Anne Murray, and she passed on it. After recording an elaborately produced demo of the song, they were elated when Cyndi Lauper wanted to record it for her next album. They were even more excited when they heard Lauper's sparse and delicate interpretation of their song. In 1986, True Colors was a #1 hit for 2 weeks. It also earned Cyndi a Grammy, and this inspiring ballad about embracing one's true nature has a universally appealing message. It is an empowering anthem for the LGBTQ community, inspiring the name of a nonprofit co-founded by Cyndi in 1986 to end the LGBTQ youth homelessness crisis. The True Colors Fund. The ballad, with its rainbow imagery, has a vibrant and empowering spirit. It is a powerful, popular cover song for many well-known, from Phil Collins to the cast of Glee to Justin Timberlake and Anna Kendrick. It was also featured in a touching Kodak TV ad in 1986. Music with a social justice message can be lucrative as well as spiritual. Which brings us to our next selection, Man in the Mirror. It also topped the Billboard charts as a #1 hit a year later in 1987. Although it wasn't written by the king of pop, Michael Jackson, it is said to have been his favorite song. It was part of Jackson's Bad album. That's interesting. What's so special about it? Well, it's not very often that you see a popular star releasing a song about self-consciousness and awareness. There's a definite note in it about not taking our privilege for granted and noticing how others may be less fortunate than ourselves. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make the change. This song has been used in therapy and substance abuse rehabilitation, so it is indeed powerful. Like Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. Let me make songs for the weary amid life's fever and fret, till hearts shall relax and relax their tension and careworn brows forget. Music to soothe all sorrow till war and crime shall cease, and hearts of men grow tender, girdle the world with peace, writes Francis Harper. Some days there won't be a song in your heart. Sing anyway. Which brings me to perhaps my favorite song in this service, and possibly yours too, John Lennon's Imagine, his signature song. It was the most successful single of his solo career. In 1971, he composed it in one session, sitting at a white grand piano in his estate in England. Yoko Ono watched him as he played the melody and wrote most of the lyrics, and it was inspired by Cloud Peace, a poem that appeared in Yoko Ono's book, Grapefruit. The poem is this: imagine clouds dripping. Dig a hole in your garden to put them in. Although Imagine's lyrics bear only a passing resemblance to Cloud Peace, such was the influence that Lennon later admitted she should have been given co-credit for the song. He recorded it in his home studio with a little help from his friends. Here's what John had to say about it. Imagine is anti-religious, anti-nationalistic, anti-conventional, anti-capitalistic. But because it is sugar-coated, it is accepted. Imagine has been covered by artists in every genre, from Liza Minnelli to Stevie Wonder to Neil Young to Lady Gaga and even Willie Nelson. It's been performed at some of the biggest events across the globe: the Olympics, New Year's Eve, concerts for peace, concerts for hunger. Jimmy Carter said of it, in many countries around the world, and my wife and I have visited 125 countries, you hear John Lennon's song Imagine used almost equally with national anthems. It's a utopian song, and its impact is unquestionable. Disguised within its message of peace and love, a flowing melody is a collection of edgy, even dangerous, radical ideas that challenge society as we know it. Imagine there's no heaven or no hell below us. Imagine the people living today as if there's no countries, with nothing to kill or die for, or no religion. Imagine everyone living in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I hope someday you'll join us. While the message of Imagine resonated widely and was given added poignancy after John's assassination in 1980, its message has been derided by many who point out the contradiction of a multimillionaire asking the rest of the world to imagine no possessions. Mindful of this, during performances in later years, John substituted the words, "I wonder if we can," to "I wonder if you can." Oh, for you can, sorry. John was picky about the words. During his lifetime, different artists asked to make changes, including changing one religion or no religion to one religion. And each time he said no to any changes. Imagine makes me think of the quote from Francis Harper that was on the screen earlier. We are all bound up together in one great bundle of humanity, and society cannot trample on the weakest and feeblest of its members without receiving the curse in its own soul. You haven't heard it yet in this service because it's the challenge I gave Connie as a rollicking postlude. That's Michael McDonald's Taking It to the Streets. There's a performance of it on YouTube that I just adore, where Michael plays Amazing Grace as a prelude before taking it to the streets, which is absolutely brilliant. It takes the song out of the context of just a Doobie Brothers party song and really makes you listen to what this song is all about. According to bandmate Jeff Baxter, Taking It to the Streets is about the day-to-day situations we all find ourselves in. It's about the fact that all of us are in the same bowl of soup. We're all in much the same situations, so let's get together and do something constructive. That's what our service and its songs are about this weekend. Blowing in the wind, we are a gentle, angry people, a change is going to come, we shall overcome, imagine true colors, man in the mirror, and yes, even taking it to the streets, transforming our sadness and anger and action into song. One last thought this morning from the filmmaker and activist Michael Moore. I have been pondering a nearly forgotten lesson I learned in high school music. Sometimes in band or choir, music requires players or singers to hold a note longer than they actually can hold a note. In those cases, we are taught to mindfully stagger when we take a breath so that the sound can appear uninterrupted. Everyone got to breathe and the music stayed strong and vibrant. Yesterday, I read an article that suggested the administration's litany of bad executive orders as a way of giving us protest fatigue. We will literally lose our will to continue to fight in the face of the onslaught of negative action. Let's remember music. Take a breath. The rest of the chorus will sing, the rest of the band will play. Rejoin so others can also breathe. Together we can sustain a very long, beautiful note for a very, very long time. You don't have to do it all, but you must add your voice to the song. The choir is going to help us sing our last hymn, going to keep on moving forward. The words will be on your screen. Some days there won't be a song in your heart. Sing anyway. We'll sing it once for you, and then you can join us.
Keep on
It was Holly Near who also sang this. There is a hurting in my family, and there is sorrow in my town. There is a panic all across the nations, and there is wailing the whole world round. But I am open, and I am willing, for to be hopeless would feel so strange, 'cause it dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. Be lifted up. You've got hands holding you to help in the song. May it be so. Amen.